What's going on, guys? Sorry, I got a little carried away answering comments on one of my videos, so I'm about a minute late. Get everything set up real quick. Goodness gracious. Ketchup, mustard, relish, mayonnaise. Yeah, that's about what I've been dealing with tonight. Been cooking for about the last 3 hours. You guys are hilarious. I'm actually getting ready for a trip to Louisiana this next week, so I'm getting all my meals prepped up so I don't deviate from my diet. And so I've been cooking a lot of stuff tonight. Got some Brussels sprouts with some bacon and salad stuff and stuff to take on the boat and that kind of stuff. So what's going on, everybody? Lost Southern Neighbor, how's it going, man? Good to see you again. Alex, how's it going, brother? Oh, Alex, that's who you are. Let's see. Have I fished off of the RS yet? No, I have not. That actually was not mine. That was Scott's. But I should have mine picked up by sometime this midweek or something. I think Scott's going to head to Bonafide this next week and pick mine up while I'm in Louisiana. So, but I'm heading down to Louisiana for a photo shoot. It's for NRS, so we're going to be fishing for redfish and maybe take a break and go bass fishing at least one day. We'll be at Point of Shane, Louisiana. So if anybody is down in that area, come down to the Pack Kayak rental and say hi to us one evening. We'd be more than glad to hang out with you. Let's see. What's up, Steve? Big old dude. What's up, man? Big Red, how's it going, brother? Let some more folks jump on here real quick, and then we'll get things rocking and rolling. It's going to be a pretty simple night tonight. I got a few announcements, but not very many. But it's going to be, we're just going to do a bunch of Q&As. So you guys hold your questions for just a little bit. Let me get the business done. We got a bunch of new shirts and apparel and stuff like that on my website, Flukemastr.com. John Bolton, man, thanks for the $5. I appreciate it, brother. But a lot of new shirts, a lot of new apparel. Go check that stuff out. Like I said, we give a $25 gift card away on the Friday Night Live every night. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and do that while we got some folks on here. Can't find my text messages. But the winner did not leave a city. But anyway, we got a Jonah Zaimes, Z-A-I-M-E-S. Is the winner of tonight's $25 gift card off of Flukemastr.com, and he will send you email and all that stuff. Thanks for the $10, Steve. But we'll send you an email and we'll take care of all of that a little bit later. They'll take care of all that anyway because they got your email address. But the way you enter this tournament, gosh, my brain is somewhere else. The way you enter this contest or this giveaway is you go to Flukemastr.com and you basically just sign up. You give name, email address, and whatever else they ask for. Pretty simple, quick, easy, and that way we can enter you into winning it. We pick one by random every week. I don't pick it. Actually, my website guy's daughter picks it, and so it makes it very, very random, which is pretty cool. And he emails me every Friday night or text messages me the name every Friday night. So thanks to Nick Barrett for the $2 Canadian. Let's see what other things are going on. Fishing shirt of the month is still going on, guys. $10 a month, and I send you a really cool t-shirt. Matter of fact, my kids spent about 2 hours down here designing t-shirts tonight, my two boys. I haven't proofed them yet, so I don't know how cool they are, but they usually are. Jake does a really good job, and he's showing Jordan, teaching Jordan how to use Photoshop and how to design t-shirts. What else is going on? Major League Fishing just voted to have no entry fees. So that's freaking awesome. That's going to be great for those guys. Yeah, it's going to be pretty neat. I'm not going to go too far into it because I haven't read anything about it, but I just saw it through the grapevine. So let's see. Oh, I forgot to go get my button, but Angler, ANGLR, the app that I use to go and track my fishing and stuff like that. We're going to get ready to go live here in the next few weeks, where you guys can go into my profile and see all my fishing, all the days I've fished, see how few fish that I've caught, because I've had a really, really bad month. But Yeah, dudes, you can it's gonna be really really neat. So go ahead and go on. Uh, it's either, you can get, even if you have Android or an iPhone or whatever, just go download the Angler app, ANGLR, and and you'll be able to, when we go live with all that stuff, you'll be able to follow me. You'll be able to track your own fishing, track what you fished with, the weather at the time, water conditions, all kinds of other stuff, which is really cool, really really cool. There's still some room for improvement on the app, and they know that. I know that. We're actually, I'm helping them do, improve and get a longer list of the lures and things like that for you guys to choose from. But it's gonna be pretty cool. All right, let's see. I think that's it. I think that's all of the announcements I have. We're gonna go ahead and go right into um, oh, Michael A. Fishing. I love that. Dude, you're telling me I've had the absolute worst luck. Thank you for sending me tips on IG, by the way, Instagram. Hopefully I can put it to use. Yeah, dude, I've caught fish. I just haven't caught really, really nice fish at most of the year, really. But my main bad luck is audio, and always audio for some stupid reason. I'll get home, look at everything, and the audio will be jacked up. I've spent a lot of money on Bluetooth transmitters and earbuds so I can listen to myself at least before, as I'm getting things set up and as I'm starting to film, so I can see whether the audio is messed up or not. And that's helped a little bit. And it's gotten me down in the dumps, really, just because I get home and it's just, things are jacked up. But hopefully I've got all that figured out. Hopefully I don't get lazy and not check it before I start filming seriously. But yeah, it's pretty cool. But the trip to Louisiana down to Point of Shane, man, I hope you guys like redfish content, because I'm going to go down there and show you a couple of different ways to fish for redfish, and really, I hope it's just out of this world great fishing. I know we're going to get rain the second day, the third day, and the fifth day, I believe. And so, but I'm down there for 6 days. I might even stay some extra time if the fishing's not good, or if the weather's bad, and go have some fun with them anyway. And hopefully I'll be able to work my way up back home and fish a couple of places as well, but we'll see. No plans after that. May just take my time and go to get home. Does the Angler app cover Canada? I think it covers anywhere in the U.S. Or anywhere in the world. I think it's just GPS located. So if your phone has a GPS on it, and it just marks it according to whatever your phone or GPS does. So I'm sure it covers all of that. So I keep my fishing gear in my shed. It's the same temp as the outside temp. Is that hard on my gear? It shouldn't be. Even in the winter time, the only thing it would be hard on is your fishing line. But you want to replace your fishing line at the beginning of the season anyway. I typically, professional anglers change their fishing line after almost every day of fishing. I can't afford that. That's a lot of freaking fishing line. So I don't do that. I change my fluorocarbon out probably every 8 months. And I've gone as many as 2 years without changing the fluorocarbon out, especially the Seaguar stuff that I'm using, the Abrazex. Seems to last a whole lot longer. As long as you don't get a freaking ton of backlashes and damage the line quite a bit, you're good. But yeah, the only thing I would worry about is how you store your fishing line. I usually keep them in a box up in a closet in the house, and I'll pull it out when I want to put new line on. What's my favorite bait to use in the winter? Eli Fort. Dude, it's hard to say. I tried really hard last winter, to catch them on a blade bait, and I didn't do very good. And everybody says how great of a bait that is. Wintertime, I guess it'd have to be a jig. I love to catch them on a jig, and they seem to bite a jig a whole lot better in the wintertime. Down here, that in the south, lipless crankbait works quite a bit, as slow as you can crank it. And I think that's about it. So, but yeah, that's just moving baits or a jig, and it's hard to get away from a jig when they're biting it. So let's see. Got my first gear grabber. Got my first bait caster reel today. Put braided line on it, but it loaded the line more on the right side rather than evenly. Why? It may have been the way you were holding your line above your reel as you were reeling it on. A lot of time when if I'm holding tension with my fingers as I'm reeling it on the reel, I'll move it from side to side as I reel, and then it'll help keep it even. It's funny. It'll do that when you're like dragging a jig and stuff like that, and that line is always coming from the same direction. It'll load up a little bit on one side, more on one side than the other. The other thing that might happen is what I've done several times this year is you forget to run the line through the line guide that's on the front of the reel, and then it'll just load up wherever the heck it wants to. I've done that several times this year, but anyway, that's could be the causes. So, go dogs, Seth Gurley. Let's see. David Neal says, I'm using your tips and videos to get my wife into bass fishing. She kicked my butt last Sunday on Altoona, so thanks, I guess. Tell her congratulations. I think that's awesome. What's up, Joe Nee? Dang. Does a Ned rig work all year? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So I just bought a Corrado DC for dock skipping. Talk about a game changer. Can't backlash the thing. I'm going to get one, dudes, and try it out. I know I'm sponsored by 13, but I really am going to see where I can get one in the next 5 or 6 months. And just, everybody says good things about that. We will see. I always hold my opinions until I've actually tried one. So, let's see. What's the best way to start making fishing or fishing industry your career? Woo. I wish I had a good solid answer for that. The best thing is to work your butt off, and don't give up with YouTube, with Instagram, with whatever. If you want to do it social media wise, if you want to do it tournament wise, one thing you'll figure out about a lot of everybody who is making it a career in fishing is they don't stop working. I drove 13 and a half hours yesterday from Wisconsin to home. Just so I can get home in time to pack up and head to Louisiana. I'm on the road a lot. When I'm home, I'm working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, sometimes 100 hours a week on crazy stuff, and I decided this next year I'm going to say no a lot more than I'm saying yes to all of these trips and things I do for sponsors, so I can do more videos and just concentrate on that. That's where I failed this year miserably. After this trip to Louisiana, literally I'm not going to do anything except for make videos as much as I possibly can, and so yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. So, Alex Tilley, thanks for the $2, man. Go-to lure to use this time of year I'm in Ohio. Trying to think of what the conditions would be in Ohio. I guess the water temperature would be somewhere in the low or high 50s. Seriously, this is going to sound crazy, but go with a lipless crankbait and a spinnerbait thrown really, really slow, and even a square bill would work too. Just work it at its deepest depth. KVD 1.5 would work really good. So, Chris Gonzalez, man, he says you always have great tips, man. Love your channel. Keep up the great work and videos. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. When fishing for the reds, do you use an inshore rod or your freshwater bass gear? Both. I usually use my freshwater bass gear, but I learned the pop and cork technique, which I never have used. I learned it when I was down in Louisiana fishing earlier this year, and so I'm going to have at least one inshore rod that has a pop and cork on it on my kayak. So, yeah, dude, definitely. Especially there's an area that I caught a big black drum last time I was down at Point of Shane. If we end up going there, I'm definitely going to fish it because it's a little bit deeper water and the big ones hang out right there. All right, so let's see. Have you been hands-on with the Lose Super Duty? I have not. I really, because I am sponsored by 13, I don't get a chance to play with a bunch of other reels. I don't really bother going and buying them. That might be something I do a little bit more over the next 6 to 8 months. Is purchasing a reel or two and going and trying them out. And those are that one and the Shimano are the two I want to try. And I'll be honest with Shimano, over the years that I've been fishing, really I've become to the point where I'm not really a fan of Shimano, because every time I hold one, play with one at the store or whatever else at ICAST, they never feel like their price point. And that's kind of where I'm at. Is I want to feel like I'm getting more real than what I'm paying for. Eh, just a personal thought and a personal opinion, but it shouldn't be too bad. What's up, Tackle Junkie? Doing all right, Jimmy? Um, Kentucky will be SEC champions. Ah, dude, that's gonna be a good game tomorrow. Georgia's hot right now, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Favorite lake around Indiana? I've only fished one lake in Indiana. It was about 100 years ago, and I can't even remember what the name of it was. It was in southeast Indiana, I think, or maybe halfway up. I can't remember. We were trolling for walleye and didn't catch squat. How do you pattern bass on a tidal river in northwest Florida? Typically, what I do is I like to fish them on an outgoing tide. And what that does is it positions all the bass in the little cuts. So you got the real shallow water, and the water's coming out of that shallow water, and it pushes into a drain, and I fish the outsides of those drains. That's the only way I know how to catch them on tidal water. It's a little bit more difficult on an incoming tide, but you can go to those same drains and catch a few. But man, when it's coming out, those bass and most of the predatory fish will stack up on the mouths of those drains as it drains into the deeper water. So, see, I live in Washington State. The water here is already in the 40s. I need suggestions on how to get these guys moving. A jerkbait and a jig, and you need to fish slow, Roy. I'm telling you, dude. It's a lot more difficult when it gets below the 40s as the water temperature is dropping. And so that's when in the late fall, early winter, when that water temperature is dropping. Typically, they don't bite very well. But a jerkbait fish really slow. A jig dragged on the rocks and on the points and things like that really slow. Don't hop it. Don't anything. Just freaking drag it. You'll catch some fish. And then once that water temperature settles out in the cold of the winter, they'll start biting a little better. And then in the pre-spawn, once that water temperature starts rising again, that's when it's game on. So yeah, go expecting not to catch a lot, but try to catch at least one fish, and you'll be good. So Joni says, heard you're coming to Chickamauga sometime next week. No, I will be in Louisiana. Maybe the week after that, but we'll see. I've got an invite to go fish a private lake in Mississippi that I get to fish about once every 2 or 3 years, and I might have to swing by and go fish it for a couple of days. It's got biggins, and so I get to show off on some big pictures, but you guys will know that I'm in that private lake when I start catching 8s and 9s. Yeah, sometimes you got to do it. Let's see. How do you fish lipless crankbaits? Jesus, I've got a video on how to fish lipless crankbaits that is probably, in my opinion, which is very biased, it's one of the best lipless crankbait videos online. Okay, got some lint in my mouth, but anyway, so that's what I would do is go watch that video. There's like 6 or 7 different ways I fish them, and I find new ways to fish them all the time. But I catch some big fish on lipless crankbaits. Let's see, Dave Elkins. Do you ever fish Norris Lake in Tennessee? I have not. Alex says Louisiana's on my list of places I'm going next year. Definitely, man. There is nothing like kayak fishing for redfish in the marsh of Louisiana. I'm telling you, it is amazing. And I'm going to go into detail about my setup on my kayak, how I locate them, and the different ways that I like to catch them. I hope they're on a topwater bite. I just hope they are, because I really just want to freaking slay them on topwater. But every time I've been there, it's only been like a half hour to 45-minute window, and then they get back on the jigs. Best pole for a beginner: a medium heavy or a medium around 7 feet. So you get a 7-foot medium or a 7-foot medium heavy is the best fishing rod for a beginner. Don't try to get one a little longer. Shorter is okay because they're a little bit more accurate, but really you want to stay around the 7 foot. It's just easier to handle. Let's see. Do you tell us the truth on 13 fishing stuff? Because I've heard a lot of guys say they're trash. I'll tell you the truth. I fish, let's see, in the last 365 days, I fished 220 days. No, I fished 175 days. My goal this next year is 220. But I fished 175 days in the last year. I fish 13 fishing stuff all the time. I beat the crap out of my equipment, and I would tell you if it was junk. If it was junk, I wouldn't be with them because I've got to fish it. I don't get to call and say, hey, I need a new reel. If I break a rod, which I do break rods, I slam them indoors, I step on them, tungsten, half ounce or 3/4 ounce to ounce and a half tungsten hits them and breaks them. Because I fish them all the time. I fish them 20 times more than most anybody else. And so I figure out ways to break them, and it's always my fault. I've never had a rod break and it be the manufacturer's issue. I've never had a reel break and be the manufacturer's issue. It's always been me or my kids. Correction. Jordan broke one of my reels this summer. I won't go into detail, but anyway, it got sand in it and it just destroyed it. And he just kept cranking it. So anyway, so that's how I feel about 13. If they were junk, I wouldn't use them because I've got to. I got to be honest with you guys. For sure. I mean, I've tried rods and reels that were junk, and I had some companies send me some rods that were junk, and I called them and I said, I can't do a review on your rods because it won't be good. And they were all apologetic and stuff like that. And I've done the same thing about reels, even high-end reels. I've called a company and they were mad at me for not being able to do their review, and I was like, look, I'm not going to do a review. If I do one, I'm going to tell you that it fell apart on me, like all the little bits and pieces of the reel just fell apart, and it was a $300 reel, and so I wasn't going to be nice to them. But anyway, so you will never, if I'm reviewing like another thing, which I'm not going to do reviews anymore because it just causes a whole firestorm of issues. A lot of people have their own stinking opinions, and they don't think mine is worth a crap. So I won't be doing reviews. But anyway, if I was to do a review, I would be 100% honest with you guys, as I would be 100% honest with the company. So, Bassmaster, what's your opinion on Cast King? Matter of fact, that was the rod I was talking about being junk. But that was several years ago, so don't take my opinion on the rods that they're putting out right now. But it was maybe 5 years ago, 4 years ago, is when I told them their rods were junk. So, and it was their low end stuff. How long before those chromed out 13 fishing reels come out? I think springtime. Let's see. Rome Branson just bought a Pelican Catch 100. That's a really good beginner's kayak, man. It really is. Just be careful with it, especially in the wintertime. Dude, if that water temperature is cold, don't go fishing. Really got to have anti-exposure stuff. We lost a very, very experienced kayaker week before last. You guys saw it on my last Friday Night Live. Rebecca Golden, one of our female professional KBF member or KBF fishermen. She we don't know what happened. She fell out of her kayak during pre-fishing, and her automatic deployable life jacket didn't open up, so she drowned, and we're very, very, very sad about it. Today I saw one of your old videos in which you said that 10,000 followers was a lot for a fishing channel. Man, it's amazing how things have changed, right? That's true, Felipe. That is awesome. I never expected it to get over 50,000, really. I really didn't. It's amazing I'm almost at 300,000. Is Spot Lock Minn Kota worth the money? Yes. Yes. If you're an offshore fisherman, if you're a crappie fisherman, yes. Best fall lure, a lipless crankbait. Oh no, a square bill crankbait. I'm sorry. Have you used New Tech lures? If so, do you still use them? I have used them. I used them for about 6 months, about 2 years ago, and couldn't catch a fish on them. And the only fish I caught on them, they say that the jigs always hook them in the top of the mouth. This one hooked in the side of the mouth. But let's see. If you ever make it to South Carolina, I will take care of your trip And expenses. That's awesome, man. I used to live right across the river from South Carolina. Best bait caster on the market. I can tell you what the best rod is on the market, but I don't know about what the best bait caster on the market is. I've casted that Shimano electric reel that's like $500, and that was a really really neat reel. Best on the market, I'm not sure. The Z, I love the best ones that I use. I love the Concept Z, absolutely love it. Um, it's uh, it's just a good reel, and I don't really have to worry about it. But those are the ones that I use, and it's $200. Sit on top kayaks around $1,000. Recommendations. I'm going to say the RS 127 from Bonafide. That is the most stable $1,000 kayak that you're going to be able to get. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles as the SS 107 or 127. It doesn't have the high seat; it has a slightly lower seat, but its low seat is the same as most other kayaks' high seat. Um, I'm sorry, its seat is about the same as most other kayaks. But yeah, I haven't gotten the production one, but I have paddled the prototype, and it's super super stable. It's more stable than the SS 107. So Alex has been in one. He says the RS 117 is awesome. That's cool, man. Z Man 100 or 10. Send me your Clarks Hill waypoints. You know I've been offered about $2,500 for my waypoints on Clarks Hill, mainly my crappy waypoints. I have 139 treetops marked on Clarks Hill at this time of the year, November, December. It's I'll go out and whack crappie. I mean, just freaking slam once that water temperature gets cold. Let's see. CJ, I fish mostly after my son goes to bed, so I'm doing a lot of night fishing in Central Florida. What's good at night in the suburban ponds in the fall? I'd say still some type of a walking topwater bait, really. Fished a little bit slow. And then a swimming worm, if that makes sense. One like there's Zoom Speed. The Zoom Speed worm's a good one. The uh, the Strike King Rage Tail Cutter Worm is a good one. Something you can you Texas rig it, make it weedless, throw it out because you're gonna be bumping through weeds and stuff like that. Throw it out and just bring it through those weeds. And really, when it bumps grass, it's making noise, and the bass are gonna be able to hone in on it. So it'd be really really good. Um, was it the lady that Chad Hoover made the angler profile about that said the F word like every 5 seconds? Yes, that was Rebecca Golden right there. Oh, she was awesome. She was like she was like the mom of kayak bass fishing, and that's why we all miss her so much. Is that she always was able to laugh at herself. She was a very serious fisherwoman, and she was just a downright awesome. And man, we're gonna miss her. Fluke, how long does a post front conditions last? 2 to 3 days. If they're really, really bad, it's going to be 2 to 3 days is usually where I get. I'll start fishing hard and trying to pick it up at about day 1.5, and then work it out from there. But frontal conditions sometimes don't do anything to bass. Sometimes it turns them on, but most of the time it doesn't. What I got to do to get these walleye in Washington? You are asking the wrong fool. I'm an off. The only time I ever caught walleye by myself was I just pulled offshore, found a hump with some grass on it, and caught it. But it was in like July and August. So, is it too cold for the hula popper? I don't know. It depends on your water temperatures. I'd say yes, because most of the country right now the water temperatures are in the low 60s. But it wouldn't hurt to try it for just a little while. SS 127 or SS 107, which one do you like better? I'm going to tell you the truth. In a river, the 107 is awesome. You're not going to see me use it very often because the 127, I'm able to put my camera gear in it, the box and everything else. So 127 just holds a lot more stuff, and I carry a lot of stuff on the water, almost too much stuff to where my boat is really really sitting low in the water. But yeah, the 107 is an amazing river boat, and boat with if you're fishing current and that kind of stuff, you got to make quick maneuvers. It's a really good lake boat. I mean, I fished it for 5 days straight on the lake, and I didn't even know I was in it for a long time. It just felt like I was in the 127 until I tried to take my camera box and put it behind my back where I keep it, and there wasn't any room. So, yeah, it's not bad. The 127 is more stable than the 107, of course, but yeah, it's still a good boat. You can still stand up real easy in it. I'm looking for a decent reel under 150. Would you recommend a 13 Fishing Inception? Yes, I would. I would wait until the new one comes out that has the beetle wing side plate. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but I'm going to say it anyway because I don't care. I want you guys to have the best one possible, and that one should come out somewhere around Christmas. So, sorry guys. Sorry 13. That's how I feel. How do you fish blade baits in deep water? I've got a video I made this last year. Did I ever launch it? I think I did. About how to fish blade baits. I was in a kayak at the time. I'm going to do another one this year because I've learned a few more tricks. But it's basically you're just yo-yoing it and bouncing it off the bottom. So have a lure retriever with you and stuff like that. But you throw it out and it's almost like a Texas rig, but you're hopping it. Best advice on how to build up on all fishing gear without breaking the bank. Lucky Tackle Box. Seriously, what I've started to do, and I made a video just recently about it, but my audio was all jacked up. But is what I'm taking. All of my Lucky Tackle Boxes that come in, I'm taking all the lures and I'm putting them into their own tackle box. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to basically just go fishing and pull all the stuff out of those boxes and show you guys over time how much tackle you can acquire from Lucky Tackle Box. And it's good stuff. Some of it's but a lot of it's really, really good stuff. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. So, how to start getting into professional fishing? Work very hard, Josh. Seriously. I said that earlier. I don't know very many people in the fishing industry that don't work their living tails off. I'm working 80 to 110 hours a week on whatever I'm doing. It's just, and traveling a lot. I think the best is subjective to the user. Yes, I do. I really do, man. I think the same thing, Michael. How do you counteract a back boater during a tournament? I cast over his shoulder and I let the line land on his shoulder. And he turns back and looks at me. I just give him the old, got to give me some fish, bro. So Ryan did that. Yep, he did that. Actually, the same day he won the Co-Angler of the Year for the BFL when he was 17 years old. He threw it right over the guy got a backlash. He was backboating him going up to a brush pile. Ryan caught his winning fish off that brush pile over the dude's shoulder. So, are you a fan of adding underspins to soft plastics? Yes, I am. I absolutely love a fish head spin, and I'll be doing that a lot this winter too. Let's see. Have you fished Beaver Lake? No, I have not. Have you, Zach B, having issues past couple of weeks? Any advice on northern Illinois fishing this time of the year? It's getting really cold. I know that. I was in chest waders fishing for, what was I fishing for? Salmon and steelhead up in Wisconsin this past week, freezing my cojones off. It's getting cold, man. Go find hard bottom and drag a jig, or find some grass that's warmed up by the sun. But that's what I would do, is just drag a jig. I'm not exactly sure what your water temperatures are, but that's what I would do. So what's the secret for having your wife let you go fishing 223 times? We all want to know. Turn it into your job is the biggest thing. When I first started YouTube, I wasn't I was in the red all the time. I was spending a lot more money on camera gear and gas and tackle and stuff like that before I started making money on YouTube. And this was 2 or 3 years, a 2 or 3 year period. And it was difficult for my wife to let me go fishing. She loved to give me a guilt trip. Well, once we started getting into the black and I started making money doing it, then the questions started popping up. You going fishing today? And that's when we made the turn, and that's when I get to go fishing all the time. So the reason I need to go 220 days a year, guys, is so I can produce more videos for you guys to watch. I really, really, really want to make as many videos as I possibly can. I want to be able to do it without my equipment failing on me, and that's been, I talk about that a lot, that's been my frustration. But I just want to be able to bust out as many videos as I can, even if it's just me fishing. even if it's just me going out and just talking about how I'm figuring out the fish that day, and stay close to close to home as much as possible. So that's what I want to do. JJ Morgan, I've seen your question a couple of times. I'm sorry I haven't gotten to it. Gene, how do you feel about Lake Jackson, Oconee, and Sinclair? Tips for fishing those this time of the year? I haven't fished Jackson this time of the year, and I haven't fished Sinclair that much. They're really good lakes. Jackson is a spotted bass lake, so it should stay active a little bit longer as the water gets colder. I know Jackson used to be a largemouth lake, but it's not anymore. Oconee and Sinclair, they're going to be still around those boat docks. They're going to be getting up into where there's no current, up under the boat docks where the water's going to be a little bit warmer. And they may also be on the drops, on the steep points. That kind of stuff is where I would do. And I do the same thing. I'd drag a jig. I'd throw a lipless crankbait and bounce it on the bottom and see what goes on with that. You should be all right with that. When's the last time you fished the simple worm and bobber? I fished it this summer with my kids when I was trying to get them to catch some bluegill, and I fished it for trout not too long ago. Didn't do any good though. Picked up some corn and went and fished for trout in the river in the creeks after that. So, how do you feel about Field and Stream Shadowcaster? I'm thinking is that a kayak? I don't know, dude. I've seen them. The only one I've ever seen, to be honest with you, the dude we were or not me, but somebody else was patching the hole in the bottom of it. He had rubbed a hole through the bottom of it, dragging his kayak. But that's typical with that price point of kayak. I'd paddle one before you bought it and see if you're comfortable in it, because I made that mistake. I bought a Perception Sport. It was a 12-foot kayak. I did a ton of research on it. A lot of people said it was great. I got in it. I paddled it 2 days, and I sold it after that because my back would hurt so bad after paddling it. I realized that I couldn't sit with my butt the same level as my feet because my back couldn't handle it. So that's the biggest thing. So just get out there and paddle one if you can. Gaither says, I'd love to see some raw, almost uncut video of you breaking down a lake throughout a day of fishing. Just you going through your day figuring out the pattern. Dude, I really want to do that. I want to do more of it. But when I do, give me some good comments. Every time I do one of those, I don't know what it is. It brings out some freaking jacklegs, and it drives me nuts. But anyway, that's just me being a little sensitive. I'm gonna go find my safe space. Are you going to be doing any more videos from your boat? I've got. I just launched one this week from my boat, didn't I? Yeah. And I've got 2 more in the till, already ready to go, already loaded on YouTube. I just got to launch them this Sunday and one next week. And I might have 2 more on my SD cards that I need to send to my editor. So, have I ever tried bass? I'm guessing you asked if I ever eaten bass. Romero, yes, I have. It's not that good. My favorite freshwater fish is walleye and crappie, and those are the ones I catch to eat. So, have I used the Biospawn Vile Bug? I have not. I actually had a little bit to do with the design of that. Not much, but they sent me some, and I had them tweak it and make it a little bit skinnier, and give it a little bit, put the center, make the center of it a little bit beefier. When I saw the prototype, that was before I dropped Biospawn earlier this year. It's a really good bait, man. I really do like it. I need to pick up a pack and play around with it. Favorite John boat size to convert? At least a 50-inch wide one. I don't care how long it is, but it's going to have to be fairly wide. Mine was 49 or 50, and it worked really, really well. So if you convert that into with a cast deck and stuff like that, yes, make sure it's at least a 50-inch wide boat. Do you still use copolymer line? Yes, I do. Seagar actually has some line. They call it a monofilament, but it's actually a copolymer. And I use that now. But that Izerline Triple X is the best line out there that they actually call copolymer. And I use that. Seagar's a sponsor now, of course, but I'm still going to tell you that Izerline is really good. And it's inexpensive. They don't have they don't pay for a marketing budget, so that's why they're able to keep their prices down. Let's see. Just bought a topwater mouse. How to use it? if you're still down in the south, down like in Florida and Georgia, southern Georgia, stuff like that, should still be good. It's a great night bait. It's a great bait to fish in the shallows around cover. You just got to throw it, man, and the bass will absolutely annihilate it. You'll never get a strike better than you will on a topwater mouse. So any good brands for a cheap boat with some quality? I'm looking for a 8 to 10 foot flat bottom John boat. Either that, or do you recommend that I look around for at a local Cabela's? Woo, dude, you're just looking for an 8 to 10 foot John boat. Really, I've seen. I don't have one, but I've seen them making the Alumacraft John boats, just the little cheap ones that you get at Academy Sports, and their welds are really good. I'm pretty picky about welds. I hate sloppy welds, and there have been some boats in the past that have, like my old Triton, that the weld blew up, and I cracked a 36-inch hole in a weld in my boat. But yeah, really good boats. That's where I'd look. I'd go look at Academy Sports. Do you ever come to Erie or Pittsburgh? If so, can I come fish with you? I've got to get to Pittsburgh. That's where two of my sponsors are, and I've got to get up there to visit them. I don't think I'll have a chance to fish. I get to Lake Erie every spring in April, fish for smallmouth. It's a media event that I go up to, put on by Strike King and Seagar and a bunch of other buddies of mine. And but I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if I'll be able to extend my time up there and go fishing with you. That would be awesome, though. If you ever come up to Missouri, I'd be definitely down for fish with you. That's awesome, man. Let me read some questions. What's the best quality rod? The best rod on the market is a Dobyns Champion Extreme. I love them, absolutely. They're expensive, but I love them. I haven't fished one in about a year and a half, but I still, to this day, even though I'm sponsored by 13, I'll tell you that's the best rod on the market. Gary Dobyns is an amazing rod designer. But I love my 13s because they're just a great deal. But let's see. You ever fish upstate New York? No, I haven't. Robert Phillips, a 8 to 10 foot John boat is what you want. Why not just get a kayak? That's actually a pretty good comment. A kayak would be awesome. A lot more stable. You just can't put as much crap in it. James Burgess, when you see that the fish is hanging out around 20 to 25 feet and the bottom is around 50 feet, what is a quick and easy way to know how deep you have your bait? Depends on what kind of bait it is. Drop shot, I just drop it under the fish finder. A crankbait, I'll throw it out and I'll crank it down, and then I'll back up to the back of the boat so the crankbait goes up underneath the fish finder so I can see the depth. That's the only way I know how to, is just use your fish finder. Do you ever fish with people from your channel? I haven't done that in a while. For no reason in particular, I just haven't. Can't wait to try the angler tracker button tomorrow. Cool, man. Yeah, dude. The only complaint I have about the app right now is their selection of lures. So we're working on changing that. The cool thing about it is those guys listen. They understand that they aren't the best fishermen, and they understand that they're just tech guys, and so they listen. And it's going to be fun to work with them and make that app incredibly awesome. But yeah, that was my only complaint up to this point. Everything else is working really good. Let's see, what else? Klutz, I've never fished Toledo Bend, man. I know quite a bit about it. I can't wait to get out there and have time to fish it, but I haven't fished it. What's my favorite smallmouth lure or drop shot? Are you ever coming to New Mexico? I don't have any plans. You can tell I've been cooking all day. I've been taste testing, and my stomach is not doing good. What? Let's see. Hook'em Dano. Just getting into the baitcaster scene. Been using spinning gear my whole life. I know how that is. Doesn't seem to cast as far, even though. Will that change with experience? Because everyone says baitcasters do. Yeah, it does. As you get better and better at casting it, loosen up that cast control knob a little bit, just a hair as you go on through. Or if you keep casting, and it really does. You have to train your thumb to be able to stop it, go watch a couple of my baitcaster videos, how to cast a baitcaster, and you'll get better and better, man. It's all about experience. I remember those days. My father-in-law forced me to put down a spinning rod and spinning reel and learn a baitcaster, and it was a cheap Walmart one. I wanted to choke myself. How do you keep your reels working so smoothly? Mine feels like it's getting rusty. About every 6 months, unless I've really used it hard, about every 6 months I take it apart and I do just a quick little oil and clean. If you're not good with tools, you're not good with putting things back together, find a guy local that will clean it for you. For usually it's about $15 to get your reel clean, which is all worth it because you're making it last longer. I actually mail mine to a guy named Trey Harple out of St. Louis, Missouri, and or St. Louis, is he in Illinois? Or is he in Missouri? I think he's in Missouri. Anyway, and he takes care of it, mails it right back. He does the best job of deep cleaning my reels. When I need them completely flushed and cleaned and everything else, he does them, and he only charges like $15-20. Let's see. East Ohio fishing. Do you have any desire to go to Mexico and hit El Salto or Sugar Lake? I actually want to go to Bacharach, is where I want to go. Matter of fact, the guy I'm going to fish with in Mississippi in 2 weeks, he is one of the U.S. liaisons for Lake Bacharach Lodge. Been a friend of mine even before he became that. So just haven't had the money to do it. Rocco's Tacos. Do I hunt? Yes, I do. I hunted pheasant for the first time 2 days ago in Wisconsin. I do deer hunt when I can. I haven't done it in the last couple of years just because I've been concentrating on teaching you guys how to fish. But I might go out a few times this year. I've shot over 160 deer in my life. It got boring after a while, and now I just do it for meat. I stopped chasing horns a long time ago. What's the best rod for under $100? I'm going to tell you the best one that I have found, and it's not because I'm sponsored by them. It's not because I use it all. Well, it is because I use it all the time. But the fake chrome at $80 is phenomenal. It's the old blackout rod is what it is, with a few little updates and upgrades and stuff like that. But the fake chrome is an outstanding rod. That's what I use. About 50% of my rods are fake chromes, and you can't beat it for $80. So how do I feel about the Daiwa Tatula? You know what? It was a very smooth reel. I used one a couple of years ago. Smooth as butter. Cast a mile. To me, it was just heavy, and it was a little bit too big for what I was used to. And I'm not saying it's a bad because of that. It's just, it was real big in my hand, and I didn't like it. And so I actually gave it to Tackle Junkie 81, but I hope he liked it, because I know he loves Daiwa rods. So yeah, it was all my personal preference. How do you convince your old lady that you're fishing to make it a career and not just fishing to go fish? Start making money doing it is really the best way you can do it. But the best thing is just have a schedule and stick to your schedule and be home when you say you're going to be home, and a little bit of give and take. I've been married 18 years. It's always give and take, brother, and she always wins. So. Is the fake chrome better than the Ducket? Yes, easily. That was a no-brainer. I would have never stopped using my Duckets. Now, I never was sponsored by Ducket. I bought all of my old Ducket rods, but I would never have stopped using my Ducket rods had the 13 rods been worse. Ain't no way. So, Chase Lane says he's got 2 blackout rods and the guides still are straight and everything. They're great rods. Yeah, I have a bad habit. I'll get a bundle of rods and carry them like into the house or into the barn, and I'll squeeze them too tight, and I'll bend some of the guides doing it. I have a huge bad habit of doing that, and I'm just stupid. I just do it because I'm lazy and don't want to carry 3 or 4 rods at one time. Instead, I try to carry all 12. Have you ever fished Cappermore Point? I have not. Real butter works great for smoothing up a reel. It does, but make sure you oil the parts you need to oil, and you need to grease the parts you need to grease. You can really mess up a reel by putting grease in the wrong spot. Fluke, will you give my fishing page a shout out on Instagram? Fishing Manus 1458. Just hit me up in Instagram. I don't do shout outs, but I'll definitely give you a follow. Um, let's see. Bass Anglers Anonymous. I'm so behind on videos. Got to catch up this weekend. Yeah, dude. Well, I haven't launched a whole lot of videos recently. I've been working on sponsorships and stuff that I really hate to work on, but I had to. What's the best time, place, etc. for a PB? Whew. I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Just keep fishing. Tips for Gunnersville in the morning. I've never had good luck there in cold water. I'm gonna give you my guess. Okay, Gunnersville they dropped it really hard in the last or 2 weeks ago. They should have leveled it out. I haven't checked. Matter of fact, I'll check while I'm trying to tell you. But they should be in the mouths of the creeks or working their way back in the creeks. I got this app called the TVA app. Gives me all the lake info and stuff like that. And for some reason, it just locked up on me. Oh, there we go. I go to Gunnersville and then I go and see what the water level's been doing. It gives you the history, gives you all kinds of other stuff. And actually, the water level has come up and started to kind of even out a little bit at a little over 594. So what I would do is I'd go hit the grass that's in the mouths of the creeks is what I would, and don't be afraid to hit the ones in large pockets too. But any of the grass that's around there, throw a frog, flip it, punch it, and then work a spinnerbait and a crankbait along the edges of it, and then go back in the back towards the mouth and work your way back into the creek. If there's no bait fish on the outside of that creek, work your way back until you see bait fish and fish the grass that you can see. Have I ever tried Vexilar sonar phone? Yes, I have. Actually, that's my backup for when I'm kayak fishing. It's really good. It's one of those that I always recommend. It's only $100. And I'm not sponsored by them. I just always recommend their product mainly because it's just like a real fish finder. And when you graduate to a real fish finder or a bigger fish finder, you'll know how to read it, or you'll have a better idea how to read it. It won't be like you're going from a video game like the other products have to a fish finder, and it's a whole new world. So, what's your favorite rod at what price? At the price. I don't understand that question. Sorry, brother. Why do you think nobody talks about fishing a split shot worm anymore? I don't know, dude. I really don't. I use a Mojo rig, which is basically a split shot, but with a different kind of sinker that I actually make myself. But split shot rig is an outstanding way to catch a fish out of the grass, especially submerged grass. Except it gets hung up a little bit better, a little bit more than my Mojo rig, just because of the shape. That's all it is. Have you tried the deeper fish finders? Yes, I have. I have actually owned 4 of them. I broke 3. Actually, 3 of them stopped working on me. But yeah, it's the deeper is still, although it's more expensive and it's got more bells and whistles, it's still not like a real fish finder. It's like watching a video game. Fluke Noni spots around Athens, Georgia. Bear Creek, I think it's called. It's supposed to be a really good one. If you really want to make a drive down to, oh my gosh, I grew up there and I can't remember that. I'll think of it in a minute. Hold on a second. You're going to make me look. I cannot believe I can't remember the name of this stupid park. Man, oh man. Hard Labor Creek State Park. They have a new lake that they just built down there. It's got great fishing. I'd go down there and try that if you can. Just go down 441, hit 20 for a little while, and you'll be right there. So, what's my favorite rod for the price? What's the best bang for your buck? That's the reason I'm sponsored by 13. And that's the reason why I use their stuff, because I honestly feel like their rods are the best bang for the buck. From their $50 rods to their $180 rods, they are the best bang. So yeah, that's why I promote them. That's why I talk about them. That's why I use them. That's why I want you guys to know that I use them, is because they are a great value. When are you going to do a video on making your weights and sinkers? I was going to do one this summer, but it was too freaking hot in my barn. And I've run out of drop shot weights and I've run out of Mojo weights, so I've got to pour some anyway. I'll turn the camera on and I'll talk about all the safety things that I do and the things not to do that I've done, like make it explode and go up on the ceiling. Nothing worse than trying to dodge lead, molten lead. But anyway, I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's actually Bass Anglers Anonymous. That's a really good comment. He says, because split shotting causes the fish to swallow the hook more because the weight will get stuck and you have to feel the bait at that point. Yes, you're absolutely right. It's one of the things you really got to be careful. When I fish a Mojo rig, I try to keep my line tight, or mostly tight, almost 100% of the time to prevent a gut hooked fish, and it does happen. I'm lucky enough to know how to get a hook out of a gut hooked fish, and that's one of the videos I've done it a couple times in videos, but I need to purposely gut hook a fish and show you guys how to do it on a video. It'd be awesome. I can't wait for the 13 Fishing Envy to drop in February. Yeah, dude, that's a pretty sick rod. It really is. There are some slight little cosmetic improvements that they're doing to it that you guys are really going to like. Kentucky versus Georgia score predictions. Georgia's going to win 38-14. That's my prediction. What bait should I use when it's transitioning from dusk to full dark? Buzz bait is what I would use, or something that beats the water up a little bit. It's funny, especially in the summertime. There's a transition period about then when the bass really aren't biting that well, but they'll bite some loud, obnoxious bait. And so I'd be throwing something that buzzes on the water. A 13 rod's a sensitive rod for drop shotting in Texas rig. Yes, I wouldn't use the same rod for both of those techniques though, unless you're throwing a heavier weight or heavier line on your drop shot, and then you can. But yeah, I use 6-pound test on my drop shots. Any suggestions for getting sponsors or be a pro staff? Prove to them that you are worth more money than they're going to spend on you. That's the biggest thing. Is I may get free stuff, but you got to understand that I work for that free stuff. I work hard for that stuff, and somebody has to pay for it, and that's coming out of their pocket. So it's basically they're paying me with free tackle or free lures or whatever else, and so I've got to earn that. And so it's just like a job. So you got to go into it just like that. What can I do for that company, and what kind of value can I give that company? And when I can prove that to them, then we start talking about sponsorships. That's the biggest thing. Make yourself valuable, and don't settle for the national pro staff crap, where the only people making money is national pro staff and the companies that use them. Okay, NPS, in my opinion, is a scam, because you're not making any money and you're just getting discounts on tackle, which is great. If you want discounts, that's fine, but they're making money and the tackle companies are making money, and you're getting a 15, 10, 5% discount on tackle that you could probably get the same discount at a store. My opinion, may not be the right one, but it is what it is. JJ Morgan, Varner isn't. Wait a second, let me go back and read your comments. Something about Varner, and I saw Varner, and I grew up fishing Varner. Varner's in Covington. That's further than Hard Labor Creek. Yes, it is. Varner has it has a fishing bar. Actually, that's where I caught my 9.98 years ago. It's a lot different now that they freaking put grass carp in there and killed all the grass. But yeah, there's a fishing pier. There's a little bit of bank fishing, but really it's a boat lake. It's that's the worst thing about Georgia, is there's not a lot of bank fishing opportunities. You really have to search long and hard for it, and it's a shame. It's an absolute shame that you have to worry about that. But there is a section of Varner that you can fish from the bank, and then you get around to the back side of it, and it's all private property. Do you fly fish? If so, will we ever see videos? I don't have any fly fishing gear. I grew up fly fishing. I actually did a little bit of it this week for salmon and steelhead. It's just been a long time, and I was really rusty this week. Of course, it was cold too, but yeah, I don't know if you'll see one anytime soon. So, what's my opinion on the Lose Match Crush Speed Spoil? I don't know, dude. I have never heard of that one. Oh, Mock Crush. I don't know. I haven't tried it out. I've had a few Lose reels. I've had some good ones. I've had some bad ones. I had the spinning reel totally blow up on me, which was surprising. But their bait casters are great entry level bait casters all the way up to their good ones. I really love the Origin A and the Origin C. They're really good for the price. They're not like they're they're $80 to $100 reels, and that's what they sell them for. But they're really good for entry level. I think there'll be a lot less problems. Just got the Origin A. This is David Wilbur's talking about this too. He says the drag slips. Is this a common occurrence? No, it's not. It probably means that whoever put that reel together um, put did something backwards. Put one of the washers in backwards or something like that. I definitely contact them and let them take care of that problem. They're really good. There's warranty system and they're real repair shop. If you're willing to ship it down to them, they'll fix it up for you. How do you? I already answered that one, Michael, about MPS. I don't. I hit the bank on Lanier. It's huge, so there's a lot of bank. Yeah, there is. It really is. Gene, you caught your 10-pounder right after the Viacraw came out, right? Yeah, that was the other personal best. The 9.98 was at Varner in '06. And then right after I got sponsored by Biospawn, I caught that 10-pound, 12-ounce out of a kayak, out of a Hobie, as a matter of fact, with a Viacraw. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. I'm gonna give two more questions, guys. It's been an hour. I've got to go finish meal prepping for my trip to Louisiana, but I'm gonna give a couple more questions. So, let's see. Hank says I can't afford a boat, which I understand, and I live 10 minutes away from Lake Oconee. How do you get a cheap boat that will last me a while? I'd recommend a kayak. To be honest with you, then you don't have to worry about a motor or anything else. You just paddle it. Get a stable kayak and try a bunch of them out. There's a couple of kayak shops up in Athens. Actually, I think there's two in Athens. There's a couple more. There's one or two more in Augusta. One really good one. But go on one of their demo days and try it out. But if you're not happy with a kayak, get a John boat and an electric motor, and just put it in at Sugar Creek and go fish Sugar Creek. There's a ton of bass in there. No reason to leave Sugar Creek. Let's see. Top 5 fall baits. Top 5 fall baits. I made a video about this, didn't I? I think I did. Square bill, lipless crankbait, spinnerbait, jig, and a Texas rig creature bait are the 5 that I used. So. Ray M6492, that's a good question to end on. Why did I slow down on my videos? Actually, a couple of reasons. One, I was testing out audio equipment. I spent about $800 on audio equipment trying to find the right stuff, trying to get something that worked for me and my GoPros. I bought a new camera, a new main camera, which is a little bitty Sony camera that I'll use. I've just been updating stuff and just having a lot of audio issues, mainly because of water and salt water and stuff like that. Has been destroying my equipment. But that's one reason. The other reason is I was working on some really serious sponsorship deals, getting the business side of things together. October is when the fishing industry starts. Most of them start their fiscal year, so that's when new contracts are signed and stuff like that. I hate to do it. It's not something, if I could do this for free, I would. But I have to worry about feeding my family and taking care of kids and stuff like that. So that's all that's been going on. I've got 4 videos loaded on YouTube right now, ready to launch. I'm going to launch one on Sunday. I'm going to launch another one a little bit later on in the week. A couple of really short ones. And then I've got 2 more that are on my SD cards, maybe 3 that I need to offload and send to my editor. So I've got some videos coming. And then as I slow down the travel, I'm going to start busting out a bunch of wintertime videos. I really want you guys to be able to fish and be successful during the wintertime. And so that's the biggest reason why I want to bust out a bunch of winter videos. We're getting towards the mid to late part of our fall here. Georgia really hasn't had much of a fall. It went from summer to really cold, and the water temperature dropped really fast, and that's why the fishing's been really difficult. But yeah, it's some good things coming. I just have to get the motivation to go out there and film and come back here and not worry about my audio being jacked up after a long day of fishing. Sorry, I really am. I wish I could. I really appreciate all you guys. I appreciate your concern. I appreciate you tuning in. We've had a bunch of people on here tonight. It's been really neat to watch. You guys are awesome. There's going to be one video coming out that's all about that trip that I took up to Wisconsin. It's different than what I normally do because I didn't do a lot of fishing and I only hooked into one fish and I didn't even get that stupid thing on video. Big old steelhead it was the biggest steelhead I've ever seen. It was top to bottom, it was about this thick. And so, I mean, everybody saw it jump out of the water and everybody was like, oh my gosh. And as soon as everybody said that, it broke. So yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, appreciate it, guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to go to Flukemastr.com. Check out the stuff in there. If you want to buy something, that's fine. But at least sign up so we can enter you guys in the $25 a week drawing, and you guys can win a gift certificate to Flukemastr.com. That's the best way to support me. Plus you get crap out of it. Giving this money over on Super Chat is great, but I want you guys to get something back in return for your money. So go buy something on Flukemastr.com. But like I always say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing. Introduce them to my channel. Let me help you teach them how to fish. Go fishing tomorrow. Take somebody fishing. But more importantly, get out on the water, go out and catch some fish, and have a great day. We'll see you.